I'm out here in the cold and I got my mink coat on, and I can hear the water running in the stream behind me. And I wanted to explain something past the video. And remember, this is Native American Heritage Month. We did the grape juicing. Now, I showed you the version that was done by Caucasian people. We lived out in the reservation in the Eastern Agency. There are berries in the canyons, but not like Colorado. My grandfather would take us, and when the trucks, people started buying trucks, we had a truck and my auntie used to drive it, and we would go to the mountains. And I believe it was the mountains around Ignacio, Colorado. And it's very mountainous. There were rivers there, and Grandpa would take us to certain places, and there would just be bushes and bushes of grapes. I mean, everywhere you look, there would just be patches and just everywhere. And my grandmother would bring the baskets. Everybody brought their baskets, and we would have possibly about 10 or 15 people. And my grandfather always carried his rifle, and he would sit in and perch himself up on a hill where he could look down upon us. And we would pick and pick. There was choke cherries. There was, I think, the raspberries, the wild raspberries that we were talking about. There was so much there, and we would pick. And then there would be ch'il, the leftovers of that. And everybody, by the time we'd finish, we would just have piles, and we picked fast. Every time we went up there to forage, Grandpa, like I said, would watch over us. Only one time we heard his gun go off, and to warn us. And he would warn us if there was a bear around. In the mountains of Colorado, there are bears. And so Grandpa would protect us, and we would all grab the baskets and get in the truck. Grandpa would be back by that time, and it was amazing. And we would all leave, and then we would go home. And Grandma, of course, did not have a juicer. She would have a big pot, and everybody had their pots. We'd have big fires, and they would add a little bit of water and put all the grapes in there, cover it up, boil it, and steam it. It was so beautiful. And there would be lots and lots of juice. So once the Grandma knew that the juice was boiled off, then there would be the pulp. Then everybody would allow it to cool. Sometimes, like her mother would put it in like a sieve, and she would make sure that they would use the bluebird flower material, and they would run the juice through, and basically make sure that you could get as much juice out of the grape pulp. She would use the pulp for any cookies, anything she would mix. Like, I was told by one of my subscribers today that he mixed the pulp with his oatmeal. Same thing, oatmeal and cream of wheat. We mix it with that, or cornmeal. And it was so wonderful. It was tasty. And so that's kind of how we managed in the reservation. And also Grandma would take the choke cherries and mash that up with the pulp, and then she would take other berries and mix it, and then make little cookies and dry them in the sun. So when we were sheep herding, we had something to eat. It was wonderful. So that was what I wanted to clarify with the type of grapes and how Grandma juiced them and what she did with the pulp in the reservation. Now again, we had to drive a long ways, but my grandfather knew where to go.